What up, everybody? YouTube Live, how's it going? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Am I getting the monitor correctly here? My background. Well, get this jeans out of the way. That can stay. Okay. Um, I'm back. I'm giving you my live review of tonight's all new episode of Big Little Lies, specifically Big Little Lies Season 2, Episode 6. This is the second to the last episode. That's right. There are only 7 episodes this season. That's insane, right? That's awesome. um, but yeah, next week is the season finale. So, oh my god. Okay, let's see here. Before I get started, I want to credit one of you guys who left a comment last week filling in some of the blanks that I kind of left out. Because in that video, I mentioned about Ed being tempted by this lady temptress at the bar, and I totally missed out on the scene about her. And you guys, one of you guys commented and helped me with that information. So thank you. Your name is LaDonna Louise. And you explained in your comment that Tori wanted to seduce Ed while her husband watches. Win-win revenge. But it was a way for Tori to get back at Madeline for having an affair with her husband. So thank you for that. Sometimes when I do live review like this, my thoughts get all jumbled up. There are so many things that I try to line up, in the back of my head, kind of trying to get it out of my mouth. And sometimes I would miss out on some things. And so that's where you guys come in and, again, fill in the blanks and, correct me when I kind of get some of the facts wrong. So thank you so much, LaDonna Louise, for that help. All right, so let's get right to it. The title is The Bad Mother. And the big main event is the courtroom drama, courtroom scene. Before we get to that, all right, we're going to save the best for last. Let's start with Maddie and Ed. Obviously, the whole thing, Tori and Ed, Ed being tempted at the bar, obviously it did not end, or that evening did not end with him sleeping with her. Because there's a scene again in tonight's episode where she once again tries to persuade Ed to buy into this idea. Like, come on, let's just do this. So obviously what happened last week did not end or result in them being in bed together. But she's like, hey, this is not just about, apparently, according to her, this is not just about getting back at anybody. She actually likes him. She actually likes Ed. You know what? I don't want to spend too much time on that. But let me just say this. I think if I were in Ed's position, because basically there's this opportunity to, because, you've been betrayed, right? I've been betrayed. I've been hurt by my own wife who cheated on me. This is my opportunity to also inflict the same pain that she had caused on me. And knowing that this woman, her name is Tori, I believe, that she likes me, if I were Ed, that also adds to the excuse, to the reason. Like, this is not just, dude, she's into me, you know what I'm saying? That's flattering in itself. Would I do that? Would I do it? Would I go ahead and move forward with it? I probably, and maybe this is me, right? You can disagree, but if I were Ed, I would make sure that I cut ties with Maddie first. Marital, emotional, what have you. And then I jump in with this woman who apparently likes me back. But that's just me. Maybe you can call that as me riding on a high horse, or being like, moral. It's like, yeah, right, Rama. Come on, you'd be on that vagina in a heartbeat. But I think again, this is just me. If Ed were to say yes to that woman, and bam, 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 thank you, man, whatever, um, it would only exacerbate. It would only exacerbate the situation. It would not put it to rest. And I think as far as Ed's concerned, he has a bigger fish right now on this plate, and that is Maddie. He's trying to hold Maddie to her word, because last week Maddie said, "Hey, you know what? From this point forward, I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. All I want to be is just married with you, and I want to be happily married with you." So Ed, after she said that to Ed, Ed's like, "Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that." So, because we know that Ed is a good guy, and so this thing for him, I believe, at least I like to believe, takes priority rather than trying to get back at her. You know what I'm saying? Now he's just like, okay, yeah, because in tonight's episode, he feels that promise is on shaky ground. Um, After Maddie had that meeting with the ladies, she came back and he tried to get some truth out of her, and she's like, "Oh, we were just and I want to be there for Celeste, and no details, right?" And he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! You told me that you're gonna be straight with me. What the hell?" So that's what I mean by bigger fish. I think priority wise for Ed is that trying to see whether or not his wife can be held to her own promise, to her own word. Um, but man, if I were Ed, I would be on cloud nine. A woman as hot as, what's her name again? I can't remember her name. Tori, right? Saying like, "Hey, I want to have sex with you, not because of vengeance, not just because of that, but also because I like you." Oh my god. um, Ed is not to belittle Ed. He's not like Alexander Skarsgård level, Adam Scott, God bless him, he's cute, but he's not like what you would say when you think of a poster boy for a hottie or a hot man. You know what I'm saying? He's like a good husband. Ed is like the guy who would rub your feet. That's the kind of guy Ed is. Um, so I'm sure for a hot woman to say, "Hey, you know what? I like you. Let's do this. If we don't like it, we can end it. If we like it, we can do it again and again and again." Wow, that must feel. I would be flattered by that. I would be blushing if I had different skin complexion. Um, Maddie trying to reason with Renata in tonight's episode. It's like, "Hey, I want to let my husband in on this." Oh, I gotta be honest with you. That's not the brightest idea. Because Ed's a good guy. Ed, my prediction is, if Ed knew about what happened to Perry, what actually happened to Perry, Ed would push for Maddie to come forward. He would, if not in a day, it'll be like every day. He would like, "Hey, turn yourself in, or like go to the cops, tell them the truth." He would be that kind of guy. And so I don't think he would be that kind of guy like, "Oh shit, I'm in on the secret now. Okay, I'll, I'll keep it under wraps. Now I'm part of the gang. I'm part of Monterey 6 now." No, I don't think Ed will be like that. I think Ed would do whatever it takes, or whatever he could, to make sure that Maddie come forward. So Maddie feeling guilty about, like, "Oh, I told my husband that I was going to be straight with him, but I can't make that promise with this thing, with this secret still hanging." Yeah, that's true. But that's the bed you've made. That's the bed you lie in now, unless all five of you, or one of you, cracks. Speaking of cracks, the thing was with Jane's boyfriend Cory. At the last scene of last week's episode, we saw him coming out of the police department. One of you guys commented saying, "Hey, he's working with the cops," but he revealed in tonight's episode, it seems that the cop is the one that's trying to get to him. But you know what? I believe genuinely that he's a good guy. That he really genuinely wants to be with Jane. Um, so the concept or the idea of him being a plant, not to belittle your theory, but I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that he's like a cop's mole, whatever, in the Monterey Five. Um, and it's obvious from tonight's episode too, like because after that encounter with the cops, Jane kind of like, oh, maybe we need some distance between us. But he comes again, or while they were Jane and her son were swimming in the ocean, or surfing, I should say. I'm sorry, surfing. And then he came by, and they're like, "Hey, he really wanted to be in their lives, man. He wants to be in their lives." But I think this whole thing, at least to Jane, is like, this is not gonna work out because we have this big secret amongst us, the Monterey Five. And here you have Maddie trying to let her husband in, and here you have Jane preventing her boyfriend from being let in on the secret. So yeah, two sides of the coin there. um, let's get to Bonnie and her mother in the coma. My reaction to tonight's episode regarding her storyline is wow, wow, wow. That very brief moment when she smothered her mother with a pillow, I was like, holy shit. I can't believe this is happening. And then of course it cuts away and like, oh, it's just a wishful thinking, a dream. Big Little Lies does that. You know that. Big Little Lies would have flashes of that. Either wishful thinkings or flashbacks, what happened in the past. But man, that was some fucked up shit, man. I was like, holy crap. Right there and then in the hospital. And the other holy, what the fuck moment was when Bonnie confessed to her mom. Obviously, her mom could not listen. She's in a coma. She was in a coma. But she had this long list, like, I resent you for this. 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 Man. And at the end of it, she said, I resent you because I killed a man. I pushed Perry down the flight of stairs. Maybe unloading that, whole thing out is healthy for Bonnie, because Bonnie obviously, keeping or bottling that up inside has been really bugging her. Her conscience has been really like a nudge, like keep like twisting it in her stomach constantly. Maybe with that letter of confession to her mother in a coma, maybe that's all it takes. Maybe that's all that it will take. Maybe she doesn't now have to come forward, or maybe now she doesn't have to turn herself in because she has unloaded all of that out. Maybe. But who knows? We got one episode left. Maybe episode 7, she she stood up just like in tonight's episode, where she imagined it. It's like she stood up and it's like, I'm Spartacus. But back to Sears though. Man, the title is The Bad Mother. So you kind of wonder, who is this bad mother? The bad mother without S. It's not plural. It's not the bad mothers. It's the bad mother. What does that title refer to? Who does that title refer to? And one can argue it can refer to any of the 5. It can even refer to Mary Louise, because she's a grandmother. She's a mother of somebody, mother of Perry. Maybe the bad mother is each and every one of them, including Bonnie's mom, who's in a coma. Obviously, years ago, she emotionally abused Bonnie. Maybe not physically, but she was bad in that way. So it's interesting, the title of this episode. And man, Bonnie just let it all out, man. I resent you. I resent you. I resent you. Good thing she's in a coma, right? The mom couldn't listen to the whole thing. I mean, I don't know what I would do if my daughter, I don't have kids obviously, but if my loved ones come up to me and it's like, "Hey, I need to say this in front of you, and I can't say this, without having written them down first. So here we go. I resent you, Rama. I resent you, Rama. I resent. Oh, I'll be like, oh my God, I fucked up. I messed up in your life. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's all I could probably say. um, but yeah, that is quite a a turn of events, a plot twist for Bonnie, because throughout these past 5 episodes, you can tell it's killing her inside, man. The fact that she pushed Perry, and I think that guilt, that burden, just like kind of eats at her inside. And so we'll see whether or not this I resent you letter would be enough, or if that leads to actually her confessing in the episode 7 to the authority. Um, when it comes to Renata, there's not much storyline here in tonight's episode regarding Renata, except for the revelation that her husband fucked the nanny. I was like, oh, but were you surprised by that? I certainly was not surprised by that. Really, were any of us surprised that Renata's husband fucked the nanny? I mean, we've known for quite some times how unhappy Renata's husband is, and especially married to Renata, who, not to belittle her, but she's an ambitious woman. There are things bigger in her life to pursue than to nurture her marriage. Do you know where I'm getting at with that? Because she's like, oh, I gotta be this powerful woman. I gotta be this on this Forbes magazine. I gotta be this, 40 under 40, list, whatever. That's her priority. So the idea of the husband probably feeling emasculated all these years, fucking the nanny, that's no surprise to me. I feel kind of bad for the nanny though. She's what's the word I'm looking for to describe her? She's so gullible and nice. She's obviously not American. She's a foreigner. And she describes that whole affair because she's trying to get severance package from Renata and her husband. She describes it as stress management, something to that effect. Stress management. She said, I'm gonna leave that at that. I don't want to get into details on what that means. Oh my god, so funny in a devastating way. Funny, that kind of way. But yeah, she seems nice, right? Like she seems so gullible, and I feel bad for her. I really do. Like, come on. Why you gotta take advantage of the nanny, huh? Freaking Renata's husband. And lastly, let's get to the big point here, the main event. The courtroom drama, which I find fascinating and interesting because the show is created by David E. Kelley, whom is the creator of LA Law. Did he create LA Law? Let me double check. Well, he definitely created The Practice. That's for sure. The Practice is courtroom. Yeah, LA Law. He created that one too. He also created Ally McBeal, also lawyers, courtroom drama. So tonight's main event in tonight's story takes you back to a familiar place if you have been a fan of David E. Kelley's for a long time. But of course, instead of criminal case or corporate white collar case. This is custody case, child custody case. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to burp there. Celeste, I think she fumbles a few times in this whole thing. When she's on the stand, and gotta give credit where credit is due. I think Mary Louise's lawyer does a hell of a job because you gotta admit, you know, whether or not you like Mary Louise or Mary Louise's lawyer, or let's narrow it down to the lawyer. You might think he's sleazy, he's opportunist, whatever, in his line of questioning, but he knows how to set the whole thing up. He knows that he can't just throw in like freaking Perry's, the whole thing. Oh, did you kill that? So so what he goes through first is character assassination, right? To paint a picture for the judge that Celeste is an unfit mother, and that picture is that Celeste keeps having random sex with all these strangers. Maybe she's a nymphomaniac. Maybe she has sex addiction, what have you. And then it leads to because I think what the lawyer was trying to do is question her integrity. It's like, hey, uh, I think you have a problem here. You have sex with all these guys, and then bam, at the right moment, the right point, he throws in Perry. Trying to like, hey, maybe you also have problem with truth. But here's the thing, with Celeste, I think she was also being too truthful tonight. Some of her revelation, well, not revelation to us, but what she revealed in that court in tonight's episode, it incriminates her. And I'm like, dude, Celeste, please just say what, or just answer the question. You don't have to go far beyond. And this is not a confession box in a Catholic church, whatever. But I think she speaks more than what's necessary, and that could backfire. Um, to some of us, we might see that as, hey, just like freaking Bonnie in the hospital with her mom in a coma. Celeste on the stand, she's just trying to unload. You know, maybe Celeste naively thinks that, hey, if I tell the absolute whole truth, that somehow the universe will work, you know, on my behalf. But sometimes it doesn't always work that way in a courtroom drama. Sometimes your words, your revelations, what you say can be used against you. So I think there is something as being truthful. Sorry, let me rephrase that. There is something as being too truthful. If you become too truthful, that can work against you. Um, you gotta know how to tread the game. You gotta be able to know how much you want out there. How much you want to hold back. You can't just like splurt it all out, uh, especially in that setting. So, um, but what the lawyer does, at least in my opinion, is pretty smart. Um, Now you can argue, what does that have to do with being a good mother? Having sex all around, or maybe um, possibly potentially lying about Perry's death. Like, how does that have to do? How does that fit into being a good mother? Like, if she is always on time to pick her children up from school, if she always shows up at his, I'm sorry, did I say he? I'm sorry, if she shows up to pick up her children on time from school, if she shows up for her children's recital, always on time, right? If she always fixes them breakfast, if she's always there to tuck them in at night before going to bed, if she's always there, when the happy times, or when they're sad, that she's always there for them, isn't that enough? Isn't that what is described as being a good mother? If her healing process about getting over Perry includes having sex with random stranger, then that could be problematic, right? Especially when the kids find out or kids catch them in the act. But if they don't, if the kids don't know about that aspect of her life, if that is her way of healing, while at the same time being able to juggle being a good mother to her kids, I don't know. Maybe an argument could be said: how is she a bad mother? You know, I I, I think right now though I'm leaning towards that. Um, Everybody heals differently. Everybody deals with loss differently. Apparently, for her, maybe she just wants to feel, as she mentioned in tonight's episode, it's not necessarily sex addiction. Maybe she just wanted to feel some kind of connection. She wanted to be touched. Maybe she's that kind of person. She's, that needs comforting, touching, physical touch. Um, but if she can still be a good mother for her kids, in that sense, what I just mentioned to you, being there for them after school, pick them up, never be there. She's never late for anything. She never neglects them or anything. She always pays the bills. She always pays the school bills, whatever. If she's always on top of things when it comes to those aspects of motherhood, wouldn't that be able to at least absolve her or justify, this whole thing that she has about, being or having sex with random strangers? I don't know. What do you guys think? Um, but overall, to conclude, courtroom drama is probably the type of drama that is so compelling on television. That's why we have so many lawyers or courtroom or judges kind of uh, TV series. They always get greenlit, right? You always see commercials like, "Oh, next season, there's this new series about this lawyer and that lawyer and whatever." So tonight's episode really caters to those of us who love that type of drama. You know, Granted, again, it's not necessarily um, your usual who done it, but it's more like Kramer versus Kramer. Custody. Still, it's courtroom, and I, for one, always welcome that. I'm like, yes, yes, a courtroom drama. This is gonna be intense because it's the battle of who can present the stronger case. That's pretty much our criminal justice system. I'm sorry. Yeah, our crime law, just whatever we want to call it, justice system that we have here in America. It's mostly about which side can present the most solid case to either the judge or the jury. You know, which side can convince them to look at things or to view things from their perspective. That's all it is. So it's always fun, courtroom drama. The twist at the end of tonight's episode is that Mary Louise will be put on the stand, and Celeste is going to be the one questioning her. That's going to be really awesome to see in the season finale next Sunday. Man, I don't know how to predict or theorize how that would play out. Not sure, not a clue what oh, maybe the writers will have, us think this way and then throw a curveball or throw a wrench. I don't know. I don't know. One thing I know for sure is that it'll be fun to see Celeste putting to light some of the things that she's resentful about Mary Louise, just like Bonnie's resentful of her mom. As you know, Celeste is resentful, or yeah, she resents her mother-in-law. But this time, instead of like having a note like Bonnie, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, Celeste is gonna like straight up right in Mary Louise's face and get her to, I don't know. Again, I'm guessing she's gonna get her to, if you want me to guess, I think Celeste is gonna try to get Mary Louise to number one, admit that Perry was a terrible husband, and number two, that I don't know, man. I have no idea. If I were to predict and then I get it all wrong, then I would only have my word to swallow. I don't know what the number two is, but I'm safe to say that at least number one, she's trying to get, because right now, remember, Mary Louise consistently tried for the past 5 episodes, tried to rationalize in her head, oh, my son is good, or my son was good. There's no way my son could have raped that girl without any, I don't know, temptation or any reason. Maybe somebody else, force him in that place situation. She's trying to rationalize in her head that Perry was a saint. So I think that much I'm confident enough to predict that is what Celeste will try to get Mary Louise to admit on the stand. The second one, we'll see. I don't want to say it right now. All right, you guys. I'm now going to be watching tonight's episode of Euphoria. Yes, I freaking love that show. It has been renewed for second season, and I'll be back to give you my review of that one as well. So stay tuned for my review of Euphoria. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel. Press that like button. Ring that bell. And if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this.